welcome to the greatest podcast in the world.
Wow.
Are you ready?
I don't remember how the rest of the melody goes.
Matt, take him to the bridge.
I mostly had a Linkin Park phase back in the day. I didn't have Limp Bizkit phase.
Yeah, okay. No, I'm fully with you there, Matt.
I heard about all about the Nookie. I remember that, but that's pretty much it.
Check out my melody.
I remember every lyric to every song on Hybrid Theory, for sure.
Of course, dude. Come on, dude. I was listening to it the other day.
I like how this started with us being like, we're going to talk about Limp Bizkit to begin with because that's funny. And then immediately George got really excited about it, and now we're talking about Linkin Park.
So yeah, we were talking about Limp Bizkit for some reason, and I was like, oh shit, I can't believe we all had a Limp Bizkit phase. Let's just go ahead and start and giggle about
Everybody had the Limp Bizkit phase.
I can't believe I did. Like, that seems so not like me. Yeah.
Non-George.
So okay, Liam, you actually went and saw them at a concert. You just said before we started recording the tapes.
I did. I have seen Limp Bizkit, but also I have seen Linkin Park. Count them 6 different times.
Oh my
Wow.
God. Well, actually, Linkin Park is they had some good stuff. Limp Bizkit, on the other hand,
excuse me.
Yeah, Linkin Park was fun.
Wanna run that by me one more time? Limp Bizkit over Linkin Park? I don't.
No. Don't you twist these words out of the way. I am not letting that stand.
I want to see some angry comments.
Are you white trash or just a mainstream sheep? Right in the comments.
Yeah, exactly. Linkin Park was just like fun, angsty teenage pop music. It was fine.
Don't you fucking dare.
I'm trying to be nice, though. Okay, point is...
Doesn't even matter, George.
I'm trying so hard. But okay, I was...
But you've only got so far.
I was just about to ask
But in
something
the end...
Oh my God. Liam, what was the crowd like at the Limp Bizkit concert that you have been to? And what year was it?
It was kind of after the wave of Limp Bizkit. They played like a festival in the UK called Download. I can't remember what year it was actually, but it was definitely after the wave, and it was kind of like when they'd try to reform and try to capture the red cap spark of the years prior.
Oh yeah. Fred Durst is the original red baseball cap rocker.
Yeah, like why do you think like new era hats are so popular? It ain't due to baseball.
He set the precedent.
It's all down to Fred Durst.
Yeah. We're probably wrong about that, but yeah.
Didn't Fred Durst like stream playing video games on Twitch for like a period of time?
He also did like experimental movies. Apparently he's a commercial director and is trying to atone for his sins.
What sins? Limp Bizkit was a time and a place, man.
Woodstock 99 got a little out of hand.
Well, that's what happens when you rock up to a Limp Bizkit show.
That's what all the parents were telling me back then.
And I wanted to tell you the difference between Limp Bizkit and Linkin Park.
Scientific melodical differences.
Yeah, all right. Hybrid Theory
is incredible.
It sold 30 million. Okay.
Holy shit.
Limp Bizkit. Let's see. The most I see here, Significant Other, 7 million.
Yeah. Wait. That's still a lot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but how much did Rolling sell as a single? I imagine in the end, and Crawling and Rolling are all pretty much probably in the same tier. Maybe Crawling is a bit lower.
Jesus, I was such a weird kid. So what about the crowd? The crowd. What kind of types?
The crowd. I mean, it was an English crowd, so it wouldn't have been quite the same as I think a true pure Limp Bizkit crowd, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, the Woodstock 99 sexual assault crowd.
Maybe. No, it was just a bunch of English metalheads in a field in the middle of a racetrack.
That sounds like a bunch of cool dudes.
Download Festival in the UK is a good time. I don't know how it is. I haven't been in like 7 years, so I wouldn't
also,
know.
metalheads. I've typically gotten along with metalheads.
Because metalheads are nerds, usually.
Despite the intimidating appearance, they tend to be like the softest, most agreeable, talkative, friendly people I've met.
Very true.
Yeah.
I grew up listening to a lot of metal and going to a lot of gigs, and I could safely say, yeah, Sometimes you get kicked in a mosh pit by an asshole, but
It's
you
just
know.
I think that the crowd that I'm picturing in my head, the picture perfect Woodstock '99, like they're not metalheads. These are more the people who would later become juggalos. Like
Yeah, like people actually wearing red caps.
yeah, people who oh my god, that's what they might have become too later as the decades rolled on.
Red caps.
Anyways,
To settle an argument though, Linkin Park are better than Limp Bizkit.
agreed.
Wait, you agree now?
Mm-hmm. I never said that Limp Bizkit was better.
And we're talking about hybrid theory and reanimation, right? We were talking about hybrid.
Oh man, Reanimation.
Reanimation was pretty solid, man.
So good.
Yeah.
Points of
Crawlin'
Authority,
on
the
that track.
remix.
On
That was like,
Oh.
I think the third album I bought in my life. The first one was Smash Mouth. The second one was Destiny's Child. The third was Linkin
That's
Park.
all you need to know about George.
Wait. You used to listen to music? Destiny Child? What?
As a child, no, like when I was, I want to
What
say
happened to you, George?
12 to 14, I tried to develop a taste in music and failed spectacularly.
So you bought Smash Mouth and Destiny's Child.
Wow.
And you were like, what are two polar opposites
Exactly.
in which I can develop my tastes?
I didn't know what I was doing, and I still don't.
Oh, man.
True. What was the last piece of music you listened to that wasn't a video game soundtrack, George?
Oh, jeez.
It was Bruno Mars.
No, okay, like, what I just do these days is I get on YouTube
Uptown
and, like,
Funk.
I just type in coffee shop music, study music. It seems like that's the way you do it these days, instead of the radio or Spotify.
Listen
or,
to some lo-fi, George. Some lo-fi.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Lo-fi is...
I've
you-
listened to so much of that the playlist started to repeat, so I had to find something new.
Now you just become a boring, generic dude.
Yep, that's...
Let me put on the 24/7 hour lo-fi channel.
I will admit, going back to the days when I used to go to gigs, I had a bit of a sort of flash of in Japan we'd say natsukashi, like a nostalgia wave hit me yesterday when we watched What We Will Never Live to
They
Believe.
have a word for that?
Yeah, natsukashi.
Oh, wonderful. That's wonderful. I love that you can just say wave of nostalgia in one word.
Yeah, it's like long time, kind of nostalgic, give you good feelings type word.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's sweet.
I mean, we'll inevitably speak about it soon enough, but the Death Stranding trailer, I was jamming all day to the Apocalyptica song that was featured in that soundtrack. That is a band that I actually did watch play live once when they were supporting Him. Do you guys remember Him?
Oh my god, yes. Barely.
I'll be right here in
Dude.
your arms. Whoa, whoa. Amazing.
I hung out with the like emo goth kids in middle and high school, and I did not listen to Him, but I remember so many Him t-shirts in that crowd.
Were you someone who wanted to be like listening to Him, but you didn't stand it, and you were like, I'm just gonna draw heartograms on my notebook anyway?
Heartograms, that's what they were called. Yeah. Man.
Wow.
We've gone on for 10 minutes about like shitty turn of the millennium.
we were
pop
like, we're
music.
gonna keep it short because we got Death Stranding to talk about. we just talked about.
We're gonna talk Death
talked
Stranding.
about shit for 10 minutes. What a
That was
surprise!
a damn fun trailer.
Also, this is still technically part of the intro, so welcome to Dan and Sons podcast. I am your introducee for this week, Liam. Joined with me are my two emo friends.
Oh, God.
Emo 1, Matt Visual.
Am I emo too?
Preference, Linkin Park. Stannis, I hate my mom. Emo number 2, George Weedman.
Hi.
Stannis, I bought Smash Mouth as my first ever record, and I hate the American political system.
Mine is I hate my mom.
I want to smash the mouth of the system, Mom. That's what it means, right?
My mom didn't want me to have
You wanna
Pokemon
get right
cards
up
when I
there.
was young, and that's why I hate her. The hate runs deep. Years and years of hatred.
Wow.
Still
Still holding
on
on
to
to that grudge, huh?
I watched The Grudge. Oh my God, that's right.
The American or the Japanese
no,
grudge?
Ju-on.
I watched The Curse, which is the Japanese first movie.
Ah,
Oh
good.
my
Those are good ass like low
God.
budget indie movies.
That
Those are
was
horrific.
creepy.
Yeah.
Wait, is Ju-on the Grudge or is that the Ring?
No, they're all Juon. They're all Juon,
Are they?
and they're all like different.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Just
the
Googled
Grudge
it.
was the
Oh,
third
fuck.
one. The Grudge 2 was the fourth one. But the Curse 1 and Curse 2 were the first and second one.
Was that the one with the trash bag that kind of crawls across the street?
Yes. Dude. Oh my. Okay. It's obviously a very B movie quality. There's certain shots that should have been a little bit tighter. But it does not take away by how scary and the director just kind of sets scenes, especially when he doesn't even have it in order. There were like 6 different stories in the movie, and 6 different stories, six different people that they focused on, and some of them overlapped, some of them kind of didn't, and it's impressive, I gotta say. And I haven't been scared this much since I guess way back when I watched 3. I movie hopped like Chainsaw Massacre, The Grudge, and some other scary movie all in one day, and it was I couldn't go home because all you can hear is
Come on.
that first movie. Like I gotta say, like it must have been incredible because all of the things that you remember from The Grudge, all those like the boy saying meow a lot and all that came from that first movie. It's like they had like this set way of, okay, this is going to be the scary point of this story, and this one's going to be the scary point of this story, and then they just had it. Like in each story, they had something different to scare you with, and they just put that all into The Grudge. And I guess for people who did not see it like me, it scared the shit out of me, and it still scares the crap out of me now. It's watching like the one I didn't watch before, where all this stuff came from.
I can't do it. I am a self-confessed coward.
I gotta say, I wasn't. Usually, scary movies don't scare me, But this one, it got me. It really is creepy. It remember back in the day when we used to go to a horror movie and it feels almost a little demonic, right? You had that aura.
Yeah, more like supernatural based than brutalistic horror.
Where the whole theater has a mood.
It feels like something is going to be attached to you when you go home and it's going to be with you. That type of creepiness. Yes, that's what that movie provides, man. I slept like a baby that night, but still it was scary, and every time I think about it I'm like, nah, I don't feel like watching. I probably wouldn't want to watch it again.
I'm in a pitch black Japanese apartment right now. I am in pure horror territory now.
Liam,
this is not fair.
Oh my god, Liam, it would
I'm looking at my icon
you.
in my cupboards and I'm like, this is just not gonna go well for me. Something is fucking coming out. Something.
I think that first movie was done on a really low budget and initially released on tape only before they started distributing it wide enough to get attention for the American remake. And I don't know if you guys saw the American remake or the sequels, but it goes downhill pretty fast. But that first movie is that is one of my favorite movies of all time. I'm surprised it popped up here because I haven't thought about it in a while, but ooh, I love that first one.
It's impressive, dude. It's impressive. I don't want to. There's certain things we could probably talk about off air that are just wow. The way he set that up was brilliant. I will say one thing. There's this scene. You can for the audience, you could watch it on YouTube. It's on YouTube. You can just pull it up.
Let's have a visual feature.
All right. George, do you remember in the first story that you see one of the characters, a little boy, open his mouth really wide, right?
Yeah.
And a scary noise comes out. And they end that part of the story. And the next one, they have this build up between these two characters, and you see a close up of one of the two characters. She's looking up but you can't see what she's looking at, and she opens her mouth very wide, but she doesn't say anything, and then she says, "Oh, I'm about to miss, something at school or whatever like that," and she leaves. But just a couple seconds of her opening her mouth and keeping it open, her eyes, like, it looked like she saw something, but she didn't, and it was so, oh my God, it was so well done. There's lots of little things like that where you're like, it's smart. It doesn't handhold the audience. It's good ass horror. It's been a while,
like,
and I love it.
Japanese David Lynch, like really dark scenes, a slow camera, and I remember a closet in the ceiling that they never really give you a good view of, but for some reason a lot of actors go in and out of it and are terrified by what they find, and just it reminds you of what I think Stephen King talked about this. Like, a lot of good horror reminds you of what irrational stuff scares you as a kid, and there being something scary in the closet right next to where you sleep is something that adults should not feel anything over unless they're watching The Grudge.
Yeah, because you probably do this normally. Like, oh, there's nothing in the closet. There's nothing. But what if there's something in the closet?
What if?
Yeah.
Have either of you guys, one of the more horrific Japanese horrors that I watched that really stuck with me forever and ever, due to one sound, was a film called The Audition?
No.
Have you ever watched that? Okay.
I am going to look it
Matt,
up.
that is next on your list.
Oh, God. It's a drama thriller, it says.
Yeah, okay.
Damn, the Japanese movies, man. They're getting me. Yeah, I'm gonna...
Oh, God, there's a sound in it, like, teep, 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 teep. Like, oh, it still gives me fucking... It's been like 11 years since I watched that movie, and it still freaks me the fuck out right... All right, Matt. All right.
What's that sound? You don't hear it? You don't hear? Oh my God! It's like, all right, yeah. That's. Watch The Curse. If you want to get freaked out, guaranteed it will freak you out. If that movie doesn't freak you out, then yo, man, props to you, dude. Props to you, because that.
What's the audition?
And the audition. I have that here. I'm going to put that on the Plex.
So we're on 20 minutes here.
Okay.
We're on 20 minutes. Yeah.
All right. I watched Don't Breathe. Don't Breathe is good. It's another horror movie, but it's actually pretty cool. And The Lobster. If none of you guys watched The Lobster, right?
Wait, it's just called The Lobster?
It's called The Lobster, and it's nuts. It is nuts, and it's definitely a commentary on something. It's weird. It's if you like Colin Farrell. Colin Farrell, is that his name? That is his name.
Yeah.
If you like him, give it a watch. It's wacky.
Dystopian black comedy.
Yeah, it's
like Black Mirror.
It's dark. No. It's that, well, I guess it does. You can kind of give it like that, but it's not I guess there is a technology involved. But yeah, it's a weird one, really weird one. Almost unbelievable sometimes. I'll just say, because the trailer says literally when you're without a mate, you go to, like, without a wife or husband, you go to this place to have them set you up with a mate. Everyone has to have a significant other, and if you don't reach a significant other by like 30 days or so, you get turned into an animal, and they ask you what animal. Yes,
that's how it works, kids.
Yes.
Has anybody ever told you sex education? Because I feel like maybe you missed a step.
And that's how the trailer sets it up, and it's the weirdest thing, because you're like, what? What is that what he said? Yeah. Okay. So if you want something weird to watch, you may not like it. I enjoyed it for a weird reason. So, like, you might want to give it a try. And watch Love, Death, and Robots. It's very, if you like animation, watch that. And watch Zima Blue.
Zima Blue's the best one. There is...
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you did watch it.
There's a lot of weak links, though.
There's a lot of weird stuff in there.
Yeah, some stuff that's just not good.
but there's things like Zima Blue and the 3 robot one, which is like the second story, which is like worth watching.
Yeah.
Worth watching. The others, there's one, The Witness, where the animation was just out of this world, but it still had the same problems that the others had, where there's just way too many boobs, in my opinion, not enough dicks. You see what I'm saying? It was a little weird. It's one of those things. If you ever hear me talk about this stuff on the podcast, it's one of those things where it's just like, this is a little awkward. This is what are you guys doing? Yeah, but I would say watch those 2 shorts if you like animation. They're worth going inside of your Netflix and skipping all the other ones just to watch this one. Yeah. I played a game, but I'll wait for one of you guys to jump in.
Yeah. Liam, you haven't had the mic in a while.
I played a game. I actually only started playing it today, but I did play it for like a good 3 hours or so. It's called Void Bastards.
Oh, yeah. Did you get into that? I thought you were saving it for next week.
I did, but I got, a good 3 hours into it, and I feel like, considering the way the game is made, like, that is a good amount of time to sort of be able to understand, like, exactly what the game is about.
I'm intrigued. This is kind of sort of a weird, cartoony or faster follow-up to stuff like System Shock, like Irrational Games.
So it's
the Shocks.
It's like ex-Bioshock developers, who I think maybe one of them did actually work on System Shock 2 as well. So its genesis is definitely firmly steeped in that. But first off, if you are listening to this and you have your phone, first thing to do is to look at what the artwork.
Yeah.
Void Bastards is gorgeous in a way that is hard to describe. Like, you could say it looks like a comic book, but kind of doesn't quite exactly give it justice when you're actually watching it in motion. It is fantastic. And so I started playing it because I watched the trailer a couple of months ago, maybe, when they announced it, and immediately a game called Void Bastards sounds pretty great to play.
And intriguing. I see the animation has like a deliberately low frame count on.
So it's kind of like,
they look like sprites.
Yeah, it's kind of like miniatures moving towards you. The way I think of it is, when you have like when you're playing a board game and you have like miniatures that are either like put on paper stands or stuff like that, and they're moving towards you, and you're horrified just by the prospect of what it does to you. It's very much like that. And it's great. It has so much character to it. Like, it almost has like a Stanley Parable-esque humor to it.
Did I hear him in the trailer for a bit?
Say?
The narrator.
Maybe. It does sound very similar. And the guy, it probably is the Stanley Parable narrator, who is like the overlord kind of character that sends your character out on missions. It definitely does sound like him.
Is it a story game or is it like a loot?
No, essentially it's FTL but a 3D shooter. So what happens is you have to retrieve some items to basically win your freedom as a prisoner or something like that. And the idea is you have this endless amount of different prisoners who get like sort of reanimated or rehydrated, they call it. And every prisoner is randomly generated. They have a random name. They have either like a positive or a negative, and they have different stats to them. So it's very like, I don't know if you played Rogue Legacy, but the way that game worked with like its sort of negatives, like maybe you are, maybe you have vertigo, or maybe you are old, or something like that, right? It's very similar to that.
Oh no, I'm old.
Yeah. So
George mode activated.
The ones I've had so far, So a couple for the characters I've had so far. One was too tall. The character itself was too tall, so because it's a first-person shooter, obviously you can't see your character. But one was too tall, so when you try and walk through doors, you'd actually get stuck, which is amazing.
Do you have to crouch through them?
Yeah, so you had to crouch through them. It's brilliant. The other one was one who was a smoker, so he'd cough sometimes, so you would go out of stealth, because he'd be like, but they would cough at random times. It's amazing. And the other one I had, which is by far my favorite, was a guy called Steve, who every time you picked up an item, and you pick up items all the time, because the idea is that you go to random ships on your way to like a destination and you loot the ships. Every time he picks up an item, he says, "Woo!"
Oh my god.
So you're going around this ship, picking up items, and you're going, "Woo! Woo!"
I love that I love it when gameplay mechanics are comedy gags.
Yes, it's brilliant, and it really like, he died in the funniest way as well. Like, he went around a corner and I picked up some oil, and he was like, "Woo!" and then turned around and it had like triggered this enemy called the Tourist, which is just like a gelatin blob that wears a top hat that's like, "Yep, going on holiday, yep, going on holiday," and then explodes when he gets near you. So he like went, "Woo!" and he awoke in this Tourist and exploded right in his face. Oh, it's so funny. So it has like this weird humor to it, but it's like a roguelite. So all of the stuff that you gather, you can use to craft better weird guns, like space guns and stuff like that. And that stuff carries over to the next prisoner. So you gradually get more and more powerful by using their items, very similar to Rogue Legacy in that way. But when you're on a ship and you're like trying to do stuff, because all the ships are randomly generated in their layouts, and you have to get to certain like terminals, like the power terminal will turn all the lights on. You have like a limited amount of oxygen when you go onto the ships, so you have to try and find oxygen terminals. And while you're doing that, some of the enemies are really tough, so it becomes super intense. So it's this really scary, at times almost horror atmospheric space thing, like alien-esque. And then you'll hear like a weird enemy called the Juve, and he'll come around the corner being like, "Hey,
wait, really?
Hey, knobhead! Hey, you twat! Hey!" And he has like the most British accent, and he's just swearing at you the whole time, and you're like, "Oh right, yeah, it's this type of game."
Wait. What's the enemy called?
The Juve, Juve, like juvenile.
Oh, okay, that's fine. You can keep going.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's a really good game.
I'm happy. I'm glad that we clarified that.
I'm skipping through some of this gameplay, and all the prisoners are black. Is that intentional?
Maybe that person just got a lot of black prisoners.
Wilson and Powell.
Wow.
And the drugs.
I will admit that my wooer was a black guy.
Oh no.
And all of them have reasons as to why they got sentenced to prison, and it's so funny, some of their like randomly generated lines they have for why they went to prison, like their offense and stuff like that. It's really good. It's a surprise, and I played it like solidly for like 3 hours today, really enjoying it. But because it's the same gameplay over and over again, you're essentially you are on your own ship. You then board another ship. It's randomly generated. You can see the map of where all the points are. You loot it. You try and find as much as possible. You try and find the best item on the ship, survive, and then get the hell out of there, and then you walk to the next ship. And you do that kind of over and over again, but it doesn't, well, so far, only 3 hours in, it hasn't lost any charm to it whatsoever. And you encounter new enemies and stuff all the time. It's really fun, but it's humor and it's like artwork and everything just carry it.
It's a shooter. That's basically what it is.
Yeah, so they call it like a strategy shooter, but it is just straight up like it's pretty like mediocre first person shooter.
Okay.
like the shooting itself.
Yeah. Okay.
But that roguelike aspect to it, where the strategy comes in, that's a formula that I think works really, really well. This reminds me of an old inbox game I played. There was a similar concept called Wasted that got published by Adult Swim Games, I believe, a couple years ago. It was more in the vein of Fallout than System Shock, but it's surprisingly fun to blast your way through short little claustrophobic levels over and over again with the game that has a narrative arc and a gameplay loop designed for that. It feels like the cute, charming qualities of Doom, weirdly, in a way. Like in terms of how angular and tight the levels are.
It's definitely it can become difficult to traverse ships and stuff because like a lot of it looks the same. Like it's definitely modular to a certain degree, and you get on a ship and you can kind of orientate yourself, but all of the corridors look the same and you can get a little lost. It takes inspiration from stuff like Star Trek and generic sci-fi like that. So you're not really gonna see anything too unique, but just the artwork and everything, like being in that colorful surrounding pop arty type comic, it's fun.
Yeah, it's funny how I also want to check this out. Like 2 weeks in a row, we've been talking about these games that really sound like they're far up my alley, but
it's good. I would recommend if you like that kind of thing. If you want an FTL but a first-person shooter with some humor, like that's good.
That sounds like my jam, right? I remember last week Matt was talking about A Plague Tale, and that sounded like my jam. But over the past weekend, since we recorded, I ended up playing a bunch of The Sims.
Is it good? Is it?
Yeah.
Like, what's the drive for The
surprised.
Sims? You're just having people.
Well, speaking of game mechanics as comedy, it's fun thinking of it as a playable sitcom. So EA was offering The Sims 4 for free for a little short window that I think expired on May 28th. So if you're listening to this, it is already too late. But I hit it on my Origin account, loaded it up, expecting to be disappointed because The Sims 4 did not review well. It didn't launch well. It caused a huge kerfuffle over how many features were stripped back from the previous one, and I was surprised to find myself having fun. The game seems fine. And as it turns out, over the years since 2014, since it launched, they added a whole lot into the updates. They included toddlers. They included gendered customization screens. They included ghosts and monsters under the bed. But one thing that I was extremely surprised to find out the game didn't ship with was swimming pools. It didn't ship with swimming pools. How do you have a sim game that doesn't ship with swimming pools?
The easiest way to kill people.
It's iconic. It's the first thing the kids always do when they get The Sims is they build a swimming pool and kill their Sims in it. And you can't do that in The Sims 4 on launch, but now you can, and they offered it for free. And I had a blast. I made some self-insert Sims and got the girlfriend to come over and had her make a self-insert Sim. And boy, oh boy, if you want things to get weird with your significant other, play The Sims with them and see what happens. She had her laptop out with her own copy of the game running with her own house, but we had the same Sims in both of them and built our houses off of more or less the same budget. So we were kind of existing in parallel universes of one another, but playing out our own controlled versions of these separate universes. And oh my god, if for a weekend we dove into the deepest, darkest parts of our psyche and replicated them through a digital environment that caused us to re-examine ourselves under new lights. And then I made a comedy family that looks really weird that has Larry David married to a woman who has sliders set all the way to the right, so her face is like kind of drooped down, clipping into itself. And their daughter is a little sister from BioShock who's extremely creepy and wears a old world dress and hovers down hallways. And I made a house that's meant to drive them crazy, that's a hole in the ground that opens up into a bathroom, that opens up into the red room, into the red room from Twin Peaks, that then goes around into a like bunker kitchen with a bedroom with a wall covered in arrows that are going to drive this kid crazy. And I found out that one of the most fun things that I think I've done in the past, I want to say like 3-month window, is play a Sim that looks like Larry David and has a similar personality to Larry David. I slid in Snob, Loner, and Destructive into his personality quirks. And just let the Curb Your Enthusiasm soundtrack roll on in the background as you walk this guy from awkward situation to awkward situation. He can't talk his way out of a conversation to save his life. He occasionally sets himself on fire in the kitchen. In fact, that was the first thing he did. He disappoints his family at every turn. And having this happen to the appropriate soundtrack from the actual show, it is just the funniest goddamn combination ever. And I wonder if I stream it if I'll get a copyright claim, because I might have hit like streamable pay dirt here by thinking of making your favorite sitcom characters in The Sims and just playing the game with the sitcom soundtrack in the background.
Let me get this straight though, right? So you're playing
Yeah.
The Sims,
Yeah.
but you didn't make the Dad and Sons.
Oh no, my heart.
I was waiting.
No.
I thought this was all building up to that.
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't think of it. I'm
Wow.
sorry.
He didn't think of us, Liam. He didn't think of us. You know, that kind of says a lot, you know? Oh, man.
You know, I remember I did begin this section on The Sims by talking about how it helps you dive into the deepest, darkest parts of your psyche and confront the secrets that you hide within yourself that maybe even you don't want to see. But yeah, no, this version of The Sims is fine.
That segue, though. You see how he recovers? You see? You
Yep.
see how he recovers? Yeah. What do you think? We're simple-minded normies?
I think we can maybe talk about some ideas. Maybe
No, the time has passed. You already made Larry David.
you know our schedule's weird because of the time zones. Anyways, yeah, no, this seems to be like a perfectly fine Sims.
That's got nothing to do with it. You can make us and assign one of us to be the dad, or we can all be dads.
Okay.
We can be gay dads.
See, the thing is, I don't want to, dictate your virtual lives, right?
You already do.
Not your virtual lives. Your real. See. Okay, here's the thing. If I made a sim of you people and I took control of it and told them what to do, I would feel like I'm invading your privacy or something.
You see how he's.
It would be weird, right?
See what he's trying to do. You see what he's trying to do.
So anyways, yeah, a lot of the stuff that I remember from Sims 2 is there. It's totally not going to compete with the fully expanded version of any of the previous games, but it seems like a Civ cycle kind of thing is going on where the latest installment is pretty all right. And as it gets expanded, I'm sure it will overcome the previous installment. However, that launch tripped it up permanently because now EA was giving it away for free. They were like, "Oopsie whoopsie, we made a mistake. We gotta get this game in the pockets of people who are liable to spend $40 on one of the expansion packs now because it's not selling well." And that update strategy they had where they added toddlers and pools and ghosts and all sorts of cool new interactions and customization systems released on a month-by-month basis during the first year in a schedule and a fashion that's quite similar to what The Witcher 3 and Splatoon were doing in 2015. And it's almost like this is the gamer conspiracy theorist in me, but it's almost like an incredibly misguided and botched version of that single-player content update release strategy that kept those games in the news. Well, single-player, I'm referring to The Witcher 3. It kept those games in the news for a few months after launch. It kept people talking about them. It kept giving them a reason to boot it up after they had already existed the previous content, except they did it in a way that undermined the value of their core product because the features that they were adding was stuff people were expecting to be there in the first place when they bought the vanilla version on launch. And that seems like a very electronic art move to make, which is funny because nowadays I'm noticing that in my brain since 2012, 13, 14, EA doesn't necessarily evoke the negative gut feeling in my throat of remembering studios like Westwood and Bullfrog, and because of these free offers on Origin. They gave away The Sims 2 for free. They gave away The Sims 2 I think you can still get for free if you open up a customer support ticket. The Sims 4 was free for this little window. They have pretty great deals on the store. They have a subscription pass that's apparently a pretty good value in itself too. And I'm interested to see if this works in the long term.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we'll find out, I guess.
So yeah, I don't know if you guys picked it up while they were offering it.
I did not.
But as the future rolls on.
As the future rolls on, you gotta make us in The Sims, or somebody has.
Yeah, let me ask you guys this question actually. If I made a creepily detailed version of either of you guys in The Sims, what would you want me to do with them?
Just see what happens. You can auto let them do shit, right?
Yeah. That was actually the rule me and the girlfriend made, was that we couldn't control the other person's Sims.
Then
we had to create an environment that nurtured their AI.
You can control your Sim, the
Okay.
Weedman.
Okay.
But you can't control what mine and Matt do.
Okay, so I have to live with an AI-controlled Sims version of you two.
I mean,
and in what kind of house? What is the dad house gonna be?
I mean, we've all got to have separate bedrooms. I mean, me and Matt, we could probably live in the same bedroom together, but we're a bit old for that now.
Yeah. No bunk beds, though. No bunk beds.
Matt and Liam, same bedroom.
We'll come to each other's
George's
rooms
own bedroom.
to listen to Linkin Park and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So wait. Music preferences. Oh, hang on. Let me start taking some notes here. All right. Talking about personalities. How Matt? How do you want your Sim's personality to be?
Make it the wackiest as possible.
Wackiest as possible. Okay, let's see. There's hot-headed, goofball. Creative, goofball. All right. Bookworm, foodie, cook, music lover, perfectionist. That's not goofy. Clumsy is kind of goofy. Dance machine is goofy. Erratic. Wonder what that does.
Sounds nice.
Kleptomaniac, lazy, slob, vegetarian.
Can we make Matt a kleptomaniac?
Wait, why would we make him a kleptomaniac, Liam?
Why wouldn't we?
Because he's the one who got robbed, not the other way around.
No, this is his vengeance arc.
Matt, you are in control of your Sim's destiny here that I'm going to make and throw into a game.
A wacky goofball that robs people? Okay, let's do it.
Kleptomaniac. You get one more personality. As I go down the list, we got...
Creative. Just add creative in there.
Creative? Okay.
See what happens.
He's a creative
Liam,
kleptomaniac.
What kind of personality do you want your Sim to have?
What are my choices again?
A lot. Give me an adjective, and I'll try to find some that match up with it that are on the list.
Disliked.
Disliked? Oh, no. Okay, let's see. There's gloomy.
No, I'm not gloomy.
Perfectionist, child, clown, glutton, lazy.
I'm not lazy. Perfectionist probably would be.
Oh my God! That's a job interview tactic.
Yeah. You know,
What would you say is your greatest weakness?
well, I'm too much of a perfectionist.
Non-committal, self-absorbed, loner, mean, jealous, hates children. That's on the list. Yeah.
A perfectionist who hates children. Hates children.
Perfectionist, hates children. You get one more.
Reel off some others. Some random ass.
Art lover, bookworm, foodie, geek, music lover, perfectionist, ambitious, cat lover, childish, clumsy, erratic, glutton, kleptomaniac,
let's
lazy.
go for a perfectionist child hater who's childish.
Mm-hmm. Childish. Oh, that's going to be really interesting. Okay, and last but not least, let's get a concept for the house, and then we'll move on to the news. What kind of house do you think would be an interesting situation to throw us into?
It's gonna be like a studio creator.
We already
space.
got the bedrooms arranged. Studio creator space. Okay.
Matt's
Separate.
gonna have his film stuff and his editing bay. You're gonna have whatever the hell it is you do. And I'm just gonna
film stuff and editing.
I'm just gonna sit in the corner with a laptop.
So Liam has no room.
I have no room.
I'm literally in the corner on a laptop.
I have no room. What the fuck?
You're in the corner on a laptop.
I need a
Matt's
place
got to
to
have his
sleep.
film stuff, editing. Yeah, you got the carpet. Wait. Yeah, that's right. What if we have like a limited amount of beds between? I don't know. What can we do to make things interesting?
Spice up. For starters, there is one bed and one desk. Yeah, we're all creators.
We all have to share one bed and one desk?
Yeah.
Okay. One bed, one desk.
Periodically, for my own amusement,
Final destination.
children appear every 4 hours.
Okay, so I'm gonna... Because then you'd have to have a lot of friends who are kids, and the neighborhoods come with a bunch of kids by default. But Liam hates kids. This is actually gonna be a goal. I'm gonna make a goal. Make friendships with children, and that's a weird goal, by the way. But I am down. I'm game. I'm gonna think about turning this into some streaming concepts, and I'm gonna see what I can do with this. Good shit, guys. Good shit.
Wait, can Matt think of anything that'll spice up our lives?
I think we spent very long on this bit.
Can we evict Matt already?
Very, very, very long on this bit. You ready? Evict Matt? You evict me out of the house? What's this, Big Brother?
Well, that depends on how his job goes. Liam, what do you want your sim jobs to be?
What are my choices?
Oh my god, we're going.
Let me get a list.
Keep going on this.
Remember how we wanted to talk about Death Stranding soon?
That's what the people came for. Sims news.
The Liam, you ready? Pick fast.
Right.
Astronaut, athletic, business, criminal, culinary, fame, fashion, entertainment, painter.
Can I be a child's entertainer?
Entertainer.
Okay. No, can I be a child's entertainer?
I don't think that's one of them, but you can be an entertainer, and I have a feeling like all of us are going to be entertainers. Oh my god, this is going to get wacky. All right.
Well, it's one of Matt's traits.
We will all be entertainers. Okay. I think I got all my variables plugged in. If I am able to stream on this upcoming Friday night or Saturday or something, I'm gonna fucking do it. I'm gonna do this.
Oh,
we're gonna have a sim family, and it's gonna get real awkward.
Ooh, a Sims family.
This could get interesting. This could get real interesting.
Well, if you're listening to this, the stream has already happened, so tune in.
Oh man. Anyways,
I played Gris.
What?
Gris, the game,
the country?
like the movie.
Gris. No, Gris. It looks like Gris, but I think
Gris,
it's pronounced.
Gris,
I think
yeah.
it's pronounced Grease. I think.
I remember seeing the launch reviews for that at Liam's house.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is Gris. Gris. Because it's
Gris.
by Spanish developer, and when you look it up in Spanish, it's Gris.
That game has gorgeous animations, but I can tell it doesn't look like my jam.
It is great. It is.
Yeah?
Really good. It's it is a game, but I say that
Good thing
with
it's a game.
the explanation already that if it's interactive, it's a game in my opinion. But this one has a lot more than it has, like puzzles and stuff. I didn't think it would, but yeah,
They're pretty simple though, right?
yeah, yeah, they're pretty simple. Some of them do cause you to, I guess, think a little bit. They're not just like, oh, press this button. It's not like that. You have to think. You do have to think. It's a smart, simple puzzles, not like like a baby can do it or something like that. So, and there's like little extra stuff you can grab as well that make the puzzles harder to get, like an extra ending scene, the little extra collectibles on the side. So this game is about like depression, and it's not done in a, I guess, pretentious way. It's done through like the art, and because no one talks or anything, and the art is amazing. The art is amazing. You go through some power ups, and the way they design the character with the power ups is amazing. Like it's a solid ass game, and anyone who likes like the artsy, you know, indie game that makes you think a little bit, I would say this is really up your alley. Because it's short too. It's not, you know, was it on sale for like what, $11? $11 for a short experience with beautiful art, well done mechanics. Yeah, I would say this is definitely one of my favorites this year. It's really good, really, really solid, good.
I wonder now, because I feel like it can't be that bad. I just feel like I might get a little sleepy. Is the thing? I was talking to this is the game award, the Dad Awards. Remember the Dad Awards? We were watching reviews of this just before we recorded the Dad Awards.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, this is really up my alley. And then I heard it was like some type of walking simulator, and I was like, oh. But I was like, let me give this a try, because I was in a mood for more of an RPG, and I still haven't found a solid RPG yet. But this is more than just walking, that's for sure. I literally thought you just pushed forward on a stick, and I was like, oh, I wanted a little bit more than that. And you definitely have a little bit more.
Yeah, because the puzzles could keep me awake and keep me appreciating. Because God, it was gorgeous. It's drop dead gorgeous.
Really, really good. Really, in terms of art, whew, Lord, and the music.
It looks hand animated.
Yeah,
a lot of these animations.
It is all hand animated.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, it has to be. The way it looks like something like Cuphead looks. Yeah, it's definitely something to grub on. Not like a midnight snack, but like a whole meal. A little bit of cornbread on the side.
Carbs, veg, and protein.
Oh man, it's been so long since I had cornbread. Bringing back memories. You find a lot of as much cornbread in California as you did in Georgia. No. And I didn't even grow up on cornbread. I grew up. Well, I did have a little bit of cornbread when you go further up in the South, but I grew up on island food, so cornbread wasn't in the island food. Patty and cocoa bread and bun and cheese and all. Oh man, red pea soup and ackee and sawfish and. Oh man, all the Jamaicans out there like just creaming their pants right now. So,
what food does Gris remind you the most of?
Oh man, savory food. Umami.
Not umami.
Greasy food. A nice greasy burger.
Oh,
Jesus Christ!
with a little bit of gristle.
It's too easy to say Gris reminds me of greasy burgers. But yeah.
I think it's time for us to slip and slide out of here and into the Grease. Yeah, I tried, okay?
But in the end...
I tried to help you there.
I got so far!
And in the end...
it didn't even matter.
Oh my god.
When it feels like there's something, but we're left over at the test the best of all, and I'm calling it all down on the system. Won't let you down, yes, Mr. What through this town. Aside from Cyber and Slifer, deck stack like the best of them. Oh, that's right, like the rest of them. Keep me in your graveyard. Deep in the dirt. To the shores of hell.
Yo, coming live again to you. Dad songs. News.
Okay, so we got a lot to talk about this week. Stuff's happening. Unlike last week, we got an 8-minute trailer on Death Stranding. We finally know what it is. Oh my god! Because it's so important that we know exactly what the game is, right, everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's always just been a little feels a little excessive to me how much people are or how much people were, I guess, thinking that Death Stranding was some abstract, unknowable thing. When from, like, day zero, everyone knew it was a cinematic auteur project from Hideo Kojima that would have some light stealth elements across a massive outdoor map. And I'm fine going into games with just that basis. But now we have the first trailer of it that I think shows, like, some energy and some sense of humor and some life to how it's gonna work. There were some moments in the trailer that were funny. There were some moments in the trailer that were interesting, and it's definitely a different tone than the previous ones that just went all ham with the slow, drone-y camera work and dark, rumbly noises. This one has bright, smiling faces and a little bit of comedy when he's juking out the bad guys.
Positive message. You have to all come together.
Yeah, to
rebuild America.
Rebuild America. Apparently, it takes place and is about America. So yeah,
You're the president of jack shit. Let's talk about the trailer. Let's not talk about theories just yet. Let's just talk about the trailer. Let's not descend into the madness of trying to understand it. I'm more just about the trailer itself.
It's not about war.
Fine trailer.
It's not about war. Cheers.
Wait. How do you mean though? Because it goes to war.
It literally goes to the First World War or the Second.
No. Am I reading that wrong? No, that's right. You did put it down the outline. No. No.
Wait, no, Matt, you were watching it like yesterday in the Discord.
I don't remember war.
There are scenes that take place in what looks an awful lot like a World War I battlefield with trenches and early primitive tanks, and that surprised me. Like the post-apocalyptic, war-torn hellscape, as it turns out in previous trailers, was actually a different time period than the post-apocalyptic nature-claimed wasteland.
I was thinking back to the old trailers, and there is that scene with, it's so weird saying this, Guillermo del Toro. There's that scene with Del Toro where he's running with the bridge baby. Now we know what they're called.
The bridge baby.
The bridge baby. He's running with the bridge baby during a war.
And I thought it would be a Children of Men kind of war, like a future war.
Yeah,
but no,
but
it's great grandpa.
Turns out it's something else. I have a theory about that, but
oh boy, yeah. Kojima knows A, how to make damn good game trailers, B, how to poke and prod the fan theories and the fan communities by getting up his own ass with it.
It is the only trailer I have ever watched where it's 8 minutes and 50 seconds long, so it shows you so much and yet tells you so fucking little that it's amazing. How does he do it?
I'm really okay. This is actually more gameplay details than I think I was expecting to reveal, because they've been vague about that in the past. But
to be fair though, George, what could you actually tell me about the gameplay though? Apart from the nitty gritty, but what is it that you do in Death Stranding?
You're going to be delivering some kind of package across an outdoor environment where you use MGS5 Phantom Pain outdoor style stealth, tall grass, fast transportation to outrun enemies with slow animation speeds.
So you think that's it? You think that it is literally just down to carrying stuff that is valuable?
I don't think it's literally just down. I think that's going to be the core. That's what you're going to spend the most of your time doing, because you also see some corridor shooting. You see some hide and seek with the ghosts that your baby can sense. I've got a pretty solid
George,
picture.
Get it correct.
Bridge baby, pod baby, Norman Reedus' funky fetus, that thing. I after this trailer, I have a pretty solid idea in my head of what most of this game's probably gonna look like.
I wish I didn't. I wish I didn't watch it. I like the way it was before, where I didn't know anything.
Why?
I didn't want to know that I could get in the vehicle. I didn't want to know that I could shoot guns.
Yeah, there's a silly motorcycle in the trailer and everything. Speaking of like them revealing the sense of humor.
Don't take this away from me. Matt.
What?
Are you not hyped about Die Hard, man?
Listen. I am reasonably excited to play the game because it's something new and interesting, and it's not going to be like the same old garbage that we always see. We literally have to go to indie games in order to get anything cool these days, right?
And Kojima is finally allowed to make something that's not Metal Gear, and I'm in it for just that. Like, really, when
you think Norman is going to climb a tower to survey the area? No, he's not. And just that, I'm going to play the hell out of this game and enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy it.
I will admit, like, going back a couple of months when we were talking about it on the podcast, I had like a sort of fatigue about it because it was just dragging on for ages and showing fucking nothing. But yesterday's trailer, I'm all in. I'm all in now.
Yeah?
I'm all in.
It looks fun, actually.
It looks fun.
Like,
it looks intriguing. Like the mystery doesn't seem too stupid either. Like it seems like it has dumb. It has like
it seems the right amount of stupid for me.
It's red. Yes.
Forget the Kojima naming because Die Hard Man.
Fragile. they have a woman named Fragile.
Kojima doesn't know what a woman is. Like we get it.
Why would you do that?
But the underlining mystery of like the event of the Death Stranding, like the idea that it's like there was the Big Bang, the explosion of the universe, the explosion of life, and then there was the explosion of death. I like that.
The fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how the PlayStation page frames it.
Yeah. It was like a supernatural event that was kind of like the Big Bang, but it was of death.
Mysterious explosions have rocked the globe, setting off a series of supernatural events known as the Death Stranding.
Did you see Kojima's post about it? Kojima's like, this is not any ordinary multiplayer game. This is a game about strands. I simply call it Strand
Cut
Game.
the rope. Oh, yeah, remember for a day when the tagline was cut the rope? I wonder if they're going to commit to that, because that's a silly-ass tagline.
No, it wasn't cut the rope. It was create the rope.
Well, don't you cut the rope when you connect with your friends to bridge the gap between society as Sam Porter bridges?
You gotta create the ropes between us.
And then we're going to cut them on the toilet. Anyways.
I knew it.
You know what's really funny to me, though, is that we're laughing about it, we're smiling, and we're excited, and that's not the tone that the previous trailers gave off at all. Like, they were not fun. They were super serious.
Do you reckon this game is going to have, like, elements of horror to it? It seems like it could be pretty freaky.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Freaky, scary, funny, sweet, sentimental, thought-provoking. These are all emotions that Hideo Kojima aims to achieve in his next auteur masterpiece.
Are you scared of the BTs? The beach
I really hope that Die Hard Man can find a way to cure the BTs so that the United Cities of America can rebuild itself.
Can finally be free of the madman that is Cliff. Out of all of the names, like Die Hard Man alone, right? But out of all of the names, could you name what seems to be the bad guy, played by one of the finest Danish actors of all time? I call him Cliff
Blazinski. But yeah, it's I am down for this. It seems like a spiritual successor to Metal Gear, and yet at the same time, Metal Gear, but with an unlocked budget and creative weirdness to it. Like I hope this feels like something he's been wanting to make for a long time. But at the same time, I also wonder if he just kind of looked at some trends that were going on around like 2015, 2016 and decided to make a game off that. But, if he was still at Konami, we would not be seeing this. We would be seeing a trailer for either a cheap short Metal Gear spin-off or nothing at all until like 2022 when we'd see a trailer for MGS6.
Yeah. I feel like it's weird that Kojima's had so much money and stuff. I would like to know what the size of his team is, because he does not say jack shit about his like company itself, apart from posting photos with famous people all the time. But like he must have like for that kind of game and the time it's taken them.
Yeah.
Like he must.
It's surprisingly fast, actually. Like we're 6 months away.
I mean, considering, I reckon this guy's been fucking prototyping this shit for fucking 10 years or so.
Oh, yeah? You think so?
Oh my god, yeah. Absolutely. Because as soon as he got his hands on the Decimer engine from Guerrilla, he was like, oh, look, I have all these assets already made.
Well, he wouldn't have gotten a hold of that until being let go from Konami in 2015.
Yeah,
like, if anything, considering how long MGS5 took, I'm pretty surprised and happy with how smooth this one seems to be going along. I don't think they were lying when they were talking about the development being way smoother and efficient than what he's used to. Like, that speaks to some serious problems.
There's no bureaucracy, is there? He doesn't have to get signed off on things. He can just do what the hell he wants.
He's also the, like, auteur star here and not the employee who worked his way up. He is there because they want him to be there, not the other way around. This is...
Well, it's his company.
Is it a little...
He can do what he wants.
Unprecedented to say that this is... Is this like the first time that Sony's first party studio has been given this much budget and creative freedom and collaboration with Hollywood actors to make something really weird and dreamy, but in the span of like 3-4 years of a dev cycle? Is this the first time a game developer has had this much power?
I would be interested to know how much this game cost to make, because to pay people like Mads Mikkelsen, Norman Reedus for that much, like, and not just voice acting, but performance acting, flying them out to Japan all the time, filming with them for a fucking game that seems to be full of cutscenes in typical Kojima fashion.
Well, they didn't have to make their own engine this time.
Well, yeah,
and that's what supposedly.
But are you surprised? Like,
the...
I think this is a really good example, right? Because people, oh my god, there is such crap on the internet about people like, oh, the game's made with Unity. Unity's like subpar. We can't make anything with Unity. Like,
no, it's not.
No, exactly, right? But people are like, oh, it's a Unity game. It's like they treat it as like.
What? How did that rumor start?
No. What I'm saying is there's so much like negative connotation sometimes towards what engine a game is made.
Oh,
Game Maker, for example, people are like, oh, Game Maker's just your shitty 2D ass.
Oh, you're like speaking in other examples of other games that people shit talk. Yeah,
right.
Like Pillars of Eternity is a Unity game. No one would know because it's really polished and good.
Exactly.
Well, you could do a lot with Unity now. What the hell?
No, but this is the thing, right? And it's not the engines, it's the dev studios. Like, if you look at Death Stranding, does that look anything like Horizon Zero Dawn? No. What does it look like? Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah, that was actually my first thought on seeing the movement and the combat.
It is the style, and it's the team, it's what you do with the engine, and that game looks miles better, even though Horizon Zero Dawn looks fucking incredible. Like, the photorealism of the environments in Death Stranding is mind-blowing. It looks like pictures of Finland and Iceland. It's insane.
On a console, too.
My PS4?
Yeah, it's gonna die.
Yeah, it's a very strange time to be looking at the graphical benchmark games these days, because Red Dead 2 is one of them, and that's also on a console.
Yeah.
It's really weird that, like, if you want to stress your PC these days, you can't just find a good-looking game. You gotta find a good-looking game, then put it in VR, and I still don't know if it would match up to what, like, an idealized version of Red Dead 2 would look like on a PC version with the resolution and frame rate unlocked. Like, the benchmarks are weirdly enough on PS4 this year, and that's a little weird, too.
It's good. Access to everybody, for everybody. I mean, PC Master Race can do whatever they want.
Everyone on PS4, you mean?
You guys want to talk theory now?
Okay.
So I heard one theory that I kind of like, and that is that we are technically playing as the baby, and that in the trailer when he flicks on the baby and it shows the ghosts, you suddenly know where to go, and I guess it's assumed that you as the baby are feeding this information to a character you're giving instructions to. And according to the gameplay description on PlayStation's website, there's no traditional game over. If you lose your life, you find yourself in an upside-down weird realm, searching for a way back to the living. And I wonder if that's when you're, like, fighting your way out of the World War I trenches as the memories of the dead ghosts that are floating around or something. And
that would explain, like... I feel like there's an addendum to that where anybody can basically just come back alive if you fight your way through what I think is purgatory, essentially, which is the Death Stranding, the combination. Because it said something about Hades as well, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like it's going to be riffing off purgatory, and that the flashback memories of, like, not flashback, but the reenactments of some of the worst parts of human history, like the hells of which people have died in. They're just trapped there.
The very deliberately chosen World War I imagery, and also the, like, Gulf Storm Iraq War night vision goggle soldier, like, they speak to the military-industrial complex, which was a big theme in Metal Gear Solid, which is also why it kind of feels to me like a spiritual successor, but with
also, have you noticed that characters tend to, like, put guns to their heads and shoot themselves?
Because they don't really die.
Yeah.
They just go to the ghost realm.
But I feel like they do it because if you die by being attacked by BTs, you die for real, or you just can't escape. So I feel like you have to try and kill yourself if you're going to be consumed by the BTs.
So maybe you can strategically kill yourself to cross over into a different realm.
Yeah, I mean, they've used it enough in the trailers, right? That it must be something gameplay wise.
That's some heavy PS4 stuff, though. That's heavy for the masses, right there.
And in terms of heavy PS4 stuff, we also got this asynchronous multiplayer concept that's kind of like
it's all about
space exploration, alien. No Man's Sky before the update, where you might see the ghost of another player, except they can leave you gear and build you a base. And I'm wondering how barren the world's going to feel without that. That's, I think, my really biggest concern at this point. After the trailer, I have no concern about how fun the story and concept and basic core gameplay are going to be. But I do wonder if the world's barren by default because they want players to be filling it up.
And they were using a lot of it in the trailer when they were like, humans are not meant to be alone. Humans have to work together. Okay, no shit.
Oh, and to unlock the trailer, too, and get it playing, they had to have 100,000 consecutive Twitch viewers.
That was pretty ingenious.
And in PT, I believe there was also a certain threshold of Twitch viewers or something that was needed to work through the trial and error process and calculate the actual way to get to the end of that demo. So Kojima's big on online cooperation these days.
It's pretty cool.
Yes.
It'd be interesting if Death Stranding's like multiplayer does have actually a massive effect on how you play the game in a unique way like that.
Play it at launch. That's the only way that's you're gonna get the good experience.
Yeah, so I think in this case they might get me. I think I am gonna get this one on launch.
Do we have our first ever George pre-order?
We might.
We're going to.
Breaking the rules.
That also makes it weird about how reviews are gonna work, because this is a problem of today's era. Is what the hell game reviewers are supposed to do these days. Like I was just talking about how The Sims 4 had me setting my expectations up to be low when the game's fine because it has been significantly updated since reviews. And this is yet another case, again, of a game that's like meant to have a deliberate multiplayer element in it that reviewers are not going to get the full experience of until a few weeks after launch. Yeah. So that's another way that they get you to pre-order.
Yet. We don't know if that's true.
But it happens, though.
It does happen. IGN were doing that thing a couple of years ago where they would go back and re-review things.
Yeah.
That should probably continue, especially considering how many games now are live services and free-to-play online games that change periodically.
I wish there was a more streamlined way to do it, an easier way to get an update. Because if you go to Metacritic and look at the Sims 4 score, they are outdated now at this point. That is not representative of the product that a new customer is going to buy.
It's more about views. Most people just kind of write it off, don't go back to the site, you know.
And if you use a method like Steam, where they average the current user reviews instead of the professional reviews, then it's susceptible to review bombing and trolling, and that's not a reliable metric either.
You can just play the game yourself and find out.
Yeah, but that's expensive.
Yeah, you need money to eat food.
You got Redbox, right?
Redbox doesn't do everything.
And Gamefly.
Gamefly.
I hope I'm going to get a fresh shipment of VR games from Gamefly soon. Finally, I want to...
When is Stadia coming out? I'm going to get some Stadia action, you know what I'm saying?
Oh my god. Oh, okay, time to pull the cane out and move to the next topic. In more weird news, we got a Pokemon Sleep game coming out. The Pokemon Company had a very dry, very Japanese press conference.
It was so boring.
Oh, so I'm sure Matt didn't watch it, right?
Nope.
Did you?
I think I was watching it like I was like, ooh, 4 new Pokemon projects like the Switch, that must be cool. And then we got like Detective Pikachu 2, which is like inevitable because of the movie. And then like all this build up, Pokemon shirts, shitty Pokemon mobile games. What's the big reveal?
It was a lot of...
You get
I
to
guess
sleep with your Pokemon.
The most traditional announcement was that Detective Pikachu's getting a sequel on the Switch. That's going to sell like gangbusters after the movie, of course.
True.
They're going to be making a Switch and phone app called Pokemon Home that kind of serves as like a database for...
Pokemon.
Pocket Monsters.
That's better.
The weird one is Pocket Monsters Sleep, as powered by Niantic, who they're keeping in their stable for good reason. Don't forget, kids, Pokemon Go made billions of dollars.
Yeah. I mean,
Liam, do you remember the vibe of that press conference? Do you remember the music they chose?
All I remember is that Pokemon Sleep was the theme of the show because it was so fucking boring it could put anybody to sleep.
Yeah, and the music that they would like use whenever a new slideshow was rolling in and they needed a pause to fill the time was just like this really dry.
I like that Chinese guy from NetEase when they were talking about the worst project of them all, which was Pokemon Quest. And he was like, look at the screen.
The quotes for Pokemon Sleep weird me out. Everyone spends a large, quote, everyone spends a large part of their life sleeping.
I don't.
And turning that into entertainment is our next challenge at Pokemon. Remember that episode of Futurama where they beam commercials into people's dreams and everyone's really excited to get to sleep and watch the night's commercials?
Do you know what I'm hoping it is? It's like you put the ball next to you, right? And you go to sleep, and then it's kind of like the Pokemon Go Plus or the Pokemon Go Plus Plus now. It's like the Pokemon Go Plus where it sort of makes
they dug that out of the closet.
It sort of makes a little noise and there's a Pokemon nearby, but it just has like the bird Pokemon chirping sound, so it'd be like you're sleeping tightly and then it's like
I guess we're supposed to be hearing like
Pidgeotto!
You know, the morning mood music, and then all of a sudden Pidgey
Zubat.
Another fun quote is that they are looking to, quote, give players something to look forward to wake up every morning.
Life?
Whoa. That's a very Japanese thing, isn't it?
Considering how many Japanese
Oh,
people don't want to wake up the next morning, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, like, is he talking
Yeah.
about depression? Is he talking about people who are on the
Yeah.
verge of suicide? Holy shit, that's dark.
He's probably talking about
That
all the
is-
developers on that project in Japan who are just like, for fuck's sakes.
Oh no!
I haven't slept in 5 days. How ironic is it that I'm working on Pokemon Sleep?
Yeah.
How do you test it?
Everyone spends a large part of their life sleeping. Quote, that's idealistic as fuck. And then, quote, give players something to look forward to wake up to every morning. That is dark as fuck. What a weird game. Pokemon Sleep Aid. That's it's does it just strike you guys as a little tacky, or is it just me?
No, I think this is a good game for the furries out there.
Oh, now we pissed off the furries. Thanks.
Hey, if I can...
Yeah, they all know that you love the furries. You get hugs from them every time we go to a con. You're like, oh,
They are the most fun to hug. I'll give them that.
yeah, they're nice and soft, and their fur is nice. And
Matt, are you trying to tell us something about yourself? Do you have a little bit of a coming of age moment when watching Space Jam and?
oh, yo, okay, everyone did watching Space Jam. Okay, that bunny
Is
was
hot.
top tier.
There is no coincidence that furries are as popular and prolific as they are now during a time where the kids who grew up on Space Jam are entering into their mid to late 20s.
I remember watching Planet of the Apes and liking the monkey.
That turned you into a furry?
No, I'm not a furry.
I'm putting down more notes for your
This is
sim
a-
here.
This is a safe
I love
space.
good old natural smooth skin.
Oh my god, we're on a roll today. Holy shit. All right, so now the furries have something to look forward to waking up to every day.
That's oh man, that's not so good.
I don't know how I can turn that into a podcast title. It's a really long description, but it's a good one. Anyways. And our hot button, controversial story of the week, because we always do those so well, is the World Health Organization classifying gaming disorder as an actual thing. This made a bunch of gamers mad for like a couple days. Then everyone seems to kind of no, I don't see people talking about it on Twitter anymore since then. Because it's a lot more milder than the headline makes it sound. The World Health Organization has classified gaming disorder as an official disease. That does not mean, however, that the psychiatrists and psychologists and pediatrics of your respective country of luck that you happen to be born in most cases, will be recognizing it themselves. And the official professional responses to a lot of this news do recognize how it crosses over with people who have ADHD or on the autism spectrum. And the official definition itself is pretty vague and open-ended and cuts straight to the chase, which is that this gaming disorder is a pattern of gaming behavior characterized by impaired control over gaming, increasing priority given to gaming over other activities to the extent that gaming takes precedence over other interests and daily activities, and continuation or escalation of gaming despite the occurrence of negative consequences. And they also want that to be happening for a year or longer for it to be classified as an official disease. And ultimately, I see this as a response to people fucking dying in South Korea from playing StarCraft too long in the internet cafes. I don't know about you guys, but my moral compass works in a way where once a person dies about something, it should be a serious problem that's officially recognized. And what this ultimately, I think, will do is give people who do have depression, who do have ADHD or autism, a springboard to more or less be able to notice if it is gaming that is causing those problems in their psyche to manifest themselves into negative consequences, which is exactly what the definition is talking about. They're not specifying how many hours you spend playing games. They're not specifying how passionate or deeply involved you're playing games, nor are they like putting an age limit on gaming or anything. They're just straight up saying, if you keep gaming despite it being related to negative consequences in your life, maybe look into this.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds reasonable if it's not used broadly.
This also happens to be popping up during a time where loot boxes and gambling mechanics are hosting a fresh sequence of controversy as countries, the major one being China, are starting to regulate it out of the game industry's game designs, which I doubt is something the game industry... Of course, that's not something the game industry wants themselves. They'll probably be better off self-regulating. But in case of, in order for that to happen, there needs to be pushes coming to shoves. And like during the creation of the ESRB, there were congressional hearings in America. If there are going to be warning labels on games with gambling mechanics and loot boxes on them now, that's probably going to have to be a response to something like this going on, making it an official cause for concern.
Yeah, I don't know how serious to take it. Because, I mean, like, everyone had those, I guess, sessions where you were just either depressed with something or whatever, and you just played games, like, all week. You barely ate, just play games.
Sounds like we need to take somebody to the hospital.
Right. Well, I mean, that was years ago. But, yeah, like that, I mean, plenty of people do that. I would say plenty of people do that.
Oh, yeah, no, you're an MMO gamer. Yeah, you've probably heard stories.
So I just wonder how serious this could be. And does this open the door for other things in the future?
Yeah, I guess the criticism for it kind of falls into a slippery slope category where this could create other more restrictive regulations that do negatively impact the development and design of genres that people typically enjoy. However, you're not probably going to find a lot of people typically enjoying gambling addictions.
Yeah, well,
and
that
depression.
Needs to go. Loot boxes need to go, right? Am I minority in that?
No,
I doubt you're a minority. I just don't expect them to go ever.
Well, they've gone away in Belgium, so that's a start.
I believe that they'll be there in some form, in some way. Maybe not the way they are today, but it's like, I can't imagine cigarettes going away either,
Nintendo have had to stop Pocket Camp and Fire Emblem Heroes in Belgium because of the new law.
Yeah. So it's something's happening. I just can't. I feel like the role of a lot of American corporation businesses is to basically operate through as many loopholes and as close to the law as possible. Like hearing what the QA testers were telling me about how they are able to work more than full-time hours despite not being full-time because they're contractors. That's how they get away with that. The reason why a lot of contractors aren't allowed to talk to full-time employees is because they're supposed to be separate employment facilities. They're not really in practice, but in theory and on the paperwork they are, so they're legal because of that. Whatever regulations happen, I don't doubt that a major publisher will find a way to more or less get away with it, but in a form that is slightly less illegal than whatever becomes classified as illegal in the first place, if it even does. Because we all know that America is way, way, way more permissive towards big business and bad business than other nations are. And we have that whole stupid ideology of libertarian marketplaces solving social problems, when the historical reality is that big businesses kind of bully their way into creating social problems. Cigarettes being a big example. Cigarettes are less popular, they're heavily regulated, they're steadily having their audience trickle down as the generations go on, but they're still here, and I'm sure they'll still be there when I'm dead. And that is basically big business being allowed to sell people addictive poison.
Yeah.
Well, if you keep on gaming, George, you might be dead soon.
It'll happen to us all eventually.
Oh no. We started dying as soon as we came out of our mother's womb.
While you are having an existential crisis and suddenly having to make sure that you plan your life really well before your expected expiration date, you might want to spend some of that precious time here on planet Earth with the astronomically lucky coincidence that is the privilege of being able to exist in waking consciousness. Why not spend some of that time sending us questions to dadandsonspodcast@gmail.com?
Yeah.
We'll be back next week with our Twitter nonsense. So
Rapid response.
rapid letters to the dadators.
The datasphere. Social media. How can we turn social media? So our social media rapid response section will be returning next week. Until then,
Just logging into the Dad Network.
we had a lot of time to talk about news stories before getting to some 3 questions I picked out from the inbox. First up is from Fred S. He asks, "Hey Dad and Ampersons, a few podcasts ago you mentioned developers looking at gory reference materials for the newest Mortal Kombat, as in actual real-life depictions, which were mentally taxing to say the least. But what about stylized realism instead of stylizing realism? I'm a big fan of over-the-top hyper-violence and campy, trashy movies, fountains of piercing red blood, comically propped, ridiculous gib effects. Would it make more sense to resort to that kind of graphic depiction, and why not even stop there? Why go for photorealistic scans of actors when you can have sweaty, overexposed, overly make-upped faces instead? Fun fact, Left 4 Dead 2's behind the scenes mentions that the zombie's appearance is molded after rotten potato skins."
I'm not really sure what the actual question is because you gave a reference.
I have a question. What are your favorite styles of video game violence? What do you think looks comical or fun or visceral or memorable in general?
Gears of War. Gears of War. It'll always be Gears of War.
So, fun story. I heard a panel by Mike Kepps, who was Epic president at the time. He said they experimented with using red blood in Gears of War, but the team didn't like it. They said it looked too real, and that's why it has black blood.
See, there you go.
I mean, it's
still visceral, still pretty fucking gory.
what happens is as soon as you kill an enemy, the model changes into this like grinded up body. And it ragdolls, and then you can like mess with the body too, and you can shoot it more, and it breaks apart. It's ridiculous, absolutely.
But it is
ridiculous.
like typical video game chunks, isn't it?
Yeah, it's interactable.
Yeah.
You can you can teabag it and stuff.
I want to say that my most memorable video game gore moments, I think, come from Fallout New Vegas, specifically because you can loot the entire enemy's body just from the little itty-bitty chunks that show up on the ground.
Yeah, there'll be like a finger left, and you'll be like, ooh, a bottle.
Yeah, it still counts as the same container. So that created a lot of hilarious moments and comedy that was not disturbing or horrifying in the least, and really just was slapstick. It was slapstick more than there for the horror.
Mine is super stylized, but incredibly violent. Not too gory though, unless you consider pulling out spines to be gory.
Oh my.
Metal Gear
Revengeance.
Solid Rising Revengeance.
Oh yeah.
You could literally chop men into bits.
In Japan, I think they made the blood white because they wanted to clarify that these were cyborgs you're chopping up and not people, because you're not allowed to chop people up in Japanese games.
Yeah, you most definitely are chopping up people though, and then ripping their spines
And
out.
devouring.
For the sweet Gatorade juice. But no, it's fine, because so long as their head exists, they can just put the head on a new body and they don't die. Remember when the bosses would always like give you a speech and then just go into sleep mode before they kind of show up a bit later after you have your crazy Zandatsu slashathon over them?
Make America great again.
As far as movies, RoboCop always comes to mind.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, the shotgun blast in that. Oh.
Jesus, it's so.
Oh yeah, that also reminds me of the the Euphoria in Grand Theft Auto 4. If you had an automatic gun and you sprayed someone, they just kind of did that dance that they do in John Wick, where everyone just waves their arms in the air and jiggles their body, and it's comical.
That noise.
Next question is from Jack L. He asks, "Hi, Dad and Sons. This is going to be a tricky one. What's your favorite game genres that no longer really exist? As examples, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and Time Splitters." Which is a tricky one because there was a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater game released in 2014, I think, that
and I've been
got
playing
incredibly
Descenders.
bad reviews.
Descenders is kind of like that.
So there are spiritual successors to stuff that's not around anymore. But
Arcade sports games.
the score count no longer seems to matter, yeah.
Like I'm thinking more like Mario Superstar Soccer All-Star Smash Soccer thing.
Yo, remember NBA Street?
Yeah, stuff like that.
Hell yeah.
FIFA Street, that was good too.
Yeah, I would definitely say, oh man, what's the football one? NFL Blitz.
Oh yeah, Blitz.
NFL Blitz.
Oh,
NFL
you could
Blitz
like,
was
which is
one of my favorite games of like all time. Like it's just
was that the one that had like
wonky.
the X-ray tackles before Mortal Kombat?
No. I played the N64 one.
Oh.
The just original.
What was the?
Yeah.
Do you guys know what that American football game was that had? Like,
I'm pretty sure it was Street or a like a second or third version of Blitz.
it was like you could tackle them, and if you injured them, it would show you like an X-ray.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's one of them.
Yeah,
That's the only
yeah.
two that existed.
Blitz,
yeah.
I think, was doing that before Mortal Kombat was doing that.
Yeah. It's just, it just wasn't on N64. It was like on one of the PlayStations or Xboxes.
Yeah, it was.
So the
Blitz
graphics were
League.
better, and
Blitz
they started
League too.
I want to suggest, and there's spiritual successors of this stuff out nowadays, but nothing really scratches the same itch, and that is whatever the hell Rainbow Six and SWAT 4 were. Like, really strategic, tactical, single-player shooters. Rainbow Six Siege plays like that in a multiplayer environment, but it's been a long while since there's been a good single-player one of those.
I do want to pick also like games like Burnout and Need for Speed Underground.
Oh, like
Those were
arcade
fun.
street racing?
Need for Speed
Yeah.
Underground was fantastic.
Yeah, music was good. Everything like and Burnout being able to crash into like that.
And
that was like a thing.
Score
back
you
then.
for it. Burnout was like a
Yeah.
weird a hybrid between Tony Hawk and racing games.
Yeah,
Except the tricks were your crashes.
it was
That's
nuts.
hilarious.
It was nuts. And being able to build up your car and street race, and back then when I thought street racing was easy and all you had to do was ram into people and make sure that like I don't know how they would make it interesting now with the rubber band effect and everything like that, and that, like knowing how they designed the game. I don't know, they probably have to make interesting levels or something, but I don't know if it'll work. To be honest, I don't know if it'll work. I don't know if I would want to play it, but I definitely remember the nostalgia of it. Just loved that game, loved it. And Midnight Club came out too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Midnight Club 3 had the Atlanta level. I became swole with pride over that one. Last question for the week is from Miguel O, and he actually has a list of questions for us in particular. For George, what is your favorite dish to cook? I have a ton of fun making creme brulee. Stir up some custard, chill it in the fridge, boil it in the oven, get the blowtorch out, make a nice little delicious crust, tap it with a spoon. You don't eat creme brulee like other dishes, nor do you make it like other dishes. Creme brulee is just fun. For Liam, how essential is Japanese language proficiency for someone teaching an English language class to the Japanese students?
Oh, none at all.
I'm wondering about how that works. Can you clarify?
It's more to do with you living here, it being a problem. Teaching in schools, well, it might have changed since I did it, but you are not allowed to talk in Japanese to students.
Holy shit, so that's how they get away with it.
Yeah, because it's an English. It's English immersion. It's not meant to be.
I've always raised my eyebrow at job descriptions and testimonies from people who have done it, who say that you don't have to know Japanese to get a job in Japan teaching English to Japanese students.
You don't.
Wow.
That's crazy, but makes sense now that you mention it.
It's more about you living here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, your life will just not be that great if you don't.
For Matt, you ready?
Yeah.
Are the movie theaters in California any better or worse than the movie theaters in Georgia?
All right, so there are not many movie theaters in Georgia, but I did go to one in Fayetteville that had the best seats ever. It was cheap, super cheap, and barely people in the theater, like barely seats in the theater, so there weren't many people. And most of the people in Fayetteville were like respectful, so like the general laugh and but no one's talking, no one's bringing their babies. I'm sorry if you bring your baby to the movie theater, but that is a disrespectful.
That should be against the rules.
It should be against
people
the rules.
Should be able to call the police for that.
Yes, yeah, seriously. I had a baby next to me.
Hey, I thought I was the
recently,
child hater.
That's just your sim.
Man. You're disrespecting the whole theater with that. That one was probably my favorite movie experience. I haven't found that here in California, but I have found good movie theaters like the one in Orange. It's nice. I like the Dolby sound ones. They're expensive though. It's like $20 a ticket.
How can you tell where you need to go to get the Dolby sound versus the regular sound?
It says it in the theater. They have different versions. You have like the regular one, which has a lot more seats, so a lot more people go to that one. If you pay a lot for a ticket, usually you have less seats, so less people in the theater, less chance to have someone who does not care about anyone else in the theater, not respectful to someone else's experience. Yeah. So usually people who pay more for a ticket, you generally don't get that experience. So usually I pay more for a ticket. I rather enjoy, freaking Endgame with people who want to enjoy Endgame and not just, on their phone or something.
And last but not least, bonus question. Which do you tend to enjoy more, Western RPGs or JRPGs?
I played more J than I played West. But I think I do enjoy Western more now. Like we're talking about like BioWare stuff, right? Like that's Western.
Yeah, the Bethesda open worlds and the BioWare love romancers.
Yeah, I played a lot of J when I was young. A lot. And it was always, I guess, like the combat and the story that was a little wonky. And as I got older, I tend to see it as I'm like, I don't know if I want to play this anymore. Even though it's, some stuff like Final Fantasy VII was fine. Yeah, I enjoyed Final Fantasy VII. And I probably should replay 9. Those are the games that really got me into RPGs in general. But I think I do enjoy Western more now. Like the indie games that I've played, like I don't know if I'll play another Tales game. I don't know if I could sit through that. I don't know if the story would grab me. Because definitely you
might feel like something you played before.
Yeah, it might repeat. So I think Western.
Liam, how about you?
I would say traditionally I've always enjoyed JRPGs more. Aesthetically and sort of growing up playing JRPGs, but in most recent history, I would say Western RPGs. As Matt said, the BioWare RPGs, I've always enjoyed.
There's a lot.
But The Witcher 3 just stands out. I mean, Sekiro, if that's an RPG, or Dark Souls, I guess, is like a pseudo J West RPG.
It could be called an action RPG. I don't know if Sekiro has enough builds to have you picking a role out of a list, though.
Dark Souls definitely does, though. I can't remember the last RPG.
But Dark Souls is J.
Yeah.
Is it? Is it though? Like, it's made in Japan, but the genesis of it being a JRPG on there, it's definitely more Western.
If it's made in Japan, I'll consider it a J whatever.
You say Western RPGs, but that means like America, UK, Australia, Poland, like all different.
The Western Roman colonies.
It's funny you say this, you bring this up, because I've actually been looking for a Western RPG to play recently, because I've been on.
Me too.
I've been on quite a big fantasy kick thanks to the end of Game of Thrones and reading a lot of fantasy recently. So. And
there's nothing, man.
Really?
I've been looking up through a lot of indie games. I can't find one that I haven't played.
Like, I wanted to play Elder Scrolls Online, Matt, because I thought that might do it. But it seems if you're saying there's nothing out there, then that probably didn't do the kick for you.
How
Elder Scrolls? Oh no, I still play that game. I still play that.
I want to say
I just don't talk about it because it's an MMO.
I'm waving my arms in the air and declaring that I am a Western RPG man. I'm a Western RPG fan, and I had a lot of fun playing Pillars of Eternity 2 a year ago. Maybe
I can't do it. I dabbled in it, George. You remember? I can't.
Yeah,
the combat is just so shit.
I love the feeling of a game world being open-ended and sandboxy, and you having mechanics that do require you to play a specific role, and just getting your ass handed to you if you're trying to use abilities that are outside your character's scope. I love coming into a town that has multiple entrances, but I have one objective in my mind, even though there are all these distractions in the way. It speaks to me. I feel like I am having some part of my psyche being represented by the fantasy on display here, and that's not what you get with JRPGs. And I feel like it's a little kitschy to bring this up now, but this is one of like the most obvious and easy ways to notice how culture can influence a product's development. JRPGs are more linear. They are more character driven. They're not as much about idealizing the Western ideal of individual liberty versus the Japanese social norm of social harmony.
Yeah.
There is definitely a huge difference between them, and obviously they've diverged in the paths of which each genre is taken, and we have had special ones appear out of both now and again, but they're very different.
And I love like tucking myself in for a good comfy JRPG, which is really fun about playing stuff like Octopath on the Switch. You can tuck yourself in bed and it's almost like reading a visual novel. But yeah, there is so much clicking through dialogue involved, and if I'm not in the right mood or the right environment, that will put me to sleep. However, there's not a lot that I really notice I have to prepare for to enjoy a Western RPG. I just need a few good hours of time on my hand, and I'll probably be able to dig into it no matter if the quality's bad. I'll still have fun picking it apart. I won't go to sleep doing it, and I have been put to sleep by some JRPGs in the past.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I still need to do Persona. People have been telling me about Persona.
Yep.
I should still do that.
Me
Anytime
too.
voice acting does it.
It's also that they're also like 80 to 100 hours long, which feels stupid to say because so are good big long Western RPGs too.
Also, I want to avoid that now.
The Personas?
No, just like freaking 100-hour RPGs.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's an investment. Yeah, it took me 3 days to beat Gris. And that game is like 5 hours.
I played 11 hours of Descenders according to my Steam account, and I'm like, whoo, I feel like I've been playing that all year.
And to break the fourth wall here, you, our listener, just spent 2 hours listening to the Dad and Sons podcast.
What a waste of time.
No, don't make them realize that.
You think if they got this far, they realize that? They need telling.
Go do something more important.
No, they're probably doing something more important. Podcasts are meant to be in the background while you're driving, a long commute, or
operating heavy machinery,
cleaning the bathroom,
changing baby diapers.
Oh, changing baby diapers. That's a good one.
Are you changing your son or daughter's diaper right now? Get in touch.
Get in touch.
Although, don't touch your phone right now while you're doing it.
No.
That would be
weird.
Might
want to hand sanitizer right next to the thing. Baby wipes. Use baby wipes if you don't have that.
And what you don't realize, listener, is that this is a strand.
Oh,
and
God.
we're about to cut it.
Create it. Tomorrow is in your hands.
Is it though? We're all dying.
All right, we're good. We're good. It will end at some point there.